welcome everyone. Good to see you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So, I had this idea as far as a forum topic. I'm involved with the adult education programming here at Covenant, and the idea came up of just looking at some Christmas carols. And so I found this stack of about 50 of these books in the back room here at Covenant, and I thought this looks like the perfect resource for us, and so we will work through those together in a spirit of holiday cheer. And special thanks for selected choir members who also are joining us. So good to see everyone for some stories of our classic Christmas carols. So first of all, what is a carol? You know, we don't call most songs carols, but Christmas ones we do. So what's the story on that? Well, we're working in our booklet here, and what I did, we're not going to start at page 1 and work through, but rather I thought, well, when, I'm interested in history, I do a lot of historical stuff, so I was kind of interested, like, when were each of these Christmas carols written? So we're going to sing them in date order when they were written. Okay, so we're starting with the Middle Ages and going forward. And so, anyway, so it means we'll be jumping around pages some, but we can handle it. So we'll go oldest to newest in our booklet with the definition of carol is a festive song, generally religious, sometimes connected with a dance. So there's a history of a more general term carol. We've kind of restricted it, I think, in modern society to being like a Christmas song, essentially. It's derived from the Old French word carole, which is a circle dance accompanied by singers, roughly from the 1100s to 1300s, and Middle English was heavily influenced by French, and so there's a ton of French-based words in English, as you perhaps already know, and carol is one of those.
I heard that you were going to dance.
Everybody get in a circle for the circle dance. And so these were sometimes used to accompany medieval Catholic mystery plays, and carols were, the idea of carols was encouraged and picked up by reformer Martin Luther from the 1520s onward. So both Catholic and Protestant faiths have this carol tradition. So if you will turn to page 6, we will look first at O Come Emmanuel, which is a well-known classic that actually dates from the 1100s. And that is page 6 in our booklet. And I'll call your attention, I was thinking of, to give a little historical context. Here you see on the right, the Frauenkirche, Church of Our Lady in Munich, Germany. It was under construction in the 1100s. All right.
Is it still there?
It is still, it is still there. I saw it in July. So it's looking very good. Looking better than we will look. All right.
How many verses?
Just one verse. We're just going to do one verse only because we got a lot to cover. So take it away.
Oh my goodness. This lovely piano. Apologies.
I just got ready.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a, give me a second here.
Okay.
We're just going to reboot it. It's decided it wants to be a full orchestra.
I know. That's what they just want to like. It's like you beat there.
There we
All right, shall we? Oh, come now, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that once in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Excellent. So, moving on, our next classic Christmas carol was written in the 1600s, which is O Come All Ye Faithful, Adeste Fideles in Latin. Again, just thinking of a little bit of context, the Spanish colonial San Miguel Mission Church was built in New Mexico in around 1610, often called the oldest church building built in the continental United States. So, there you have it. So this next piece on page 18. One challenge with our approach today is we're like jumping around pages. So, O come, O come all ye faithful. Taking another step forward, we come to page 2, Joy to the World, which is from 1719. More specifically, the words were written by Isaac Watts, 1709, and the music is none other than Georg Friedrich Handel, who's written some other things we know well. you might have heard of it. So, page 2, Joy to the World. Now hark! What? In other words, listen, hear, guess what? Hark! The herald angels sing. 1739. Written by those Methodists, Charles Wesley and George Whitefield. So, page 16.
All right.
Note, by the way, the music is by Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy, so pretty good pedigree there as well for that one. And now we come to a little piece you might have heard of, Silent Night.
Yeah.
That is from 1818, in German, Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht, quickly translated into English, as we know. And I've got here an image of the writer Franz Gruber's autographed copy, a version of it. So this is Silent Night, Holy Night, in the handwriting of the actual author, Franz Gruber. So, is everyone on page 22?
6 versions.
Pardon? Oh yeah, it's a whole bunch, right?
Yeah.
But you can kind of see it, Silent Night, Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is hopefully easier. If we don't have 6, we don't even have one verse, please. Silent night, holy night, all is dark, all is bright, round your virgin mother child, holy innocent and mild, sing First Noel from 1823 is on page 4.
Oh, I've got my wrong page. No, page. Hold on a second.
No, it's got my page. Oh,
My number.
By the way, okay.
No, it's okay.
Very good. Sometimes you'll hear the word Noel from French Noel, sort of your spelling. Again, that medieval French influence on the English language visible in that item as well. Published in its current form in 1823 in a collection called Carols Ancient and Modern. We are. So the Wassail song comes up next. Mid-1800s, I don't think there's an exact date on it. On page 20, a couple comments on this one. From an early age, I was very confused and wasn't sure what the heck is a wassail, and what do you do with them? Well, so wassail is a reference to hot mulled cider or wine. Christmas comes at the coldest time of the year, the shortest days of the year, especially if you're in Northern Europe, England, places like that. So by golly, if you can encourage the spirits with spirits, shall we say, while sailing, the purpose is to encourage the spirits into ensuring a good harvest the following season. But it's a good idea. traditionally taking place on the 12th night after Christmas, and involves a visit to nearby orchard for singing, dancing, drinking, and general merrymaking. Sounds like covenant. Right, page 20. Came upon the midnight clear, page 12. I always thought it came upon a midnight clear, but here we go. This is 1850, so we're halfway through the 1800s, so we're getting downright modern. It's an 1849 poem by Edmund Sears, set to music in 1850 by Richard Stores Willis. So page 12. Another one that I was always kind of confused by during the Christmas season. So, who is King Wenceslas, and why is he good? And what does he have to do with Christmas? But never mind. Based on the legend of a real historical figure, Saint Wenceslas of the 10th century, Duke of Bohemia, which would be roughly Czech Republic today. Known for his kindness and generosity to the poor, probably not a common trait among dukes of that era. In the carol, the good king ventures out on a snowy night to deliver food to a needy peasant, so I thought sort of a medieval SOS food pantry. So, if we're all on page 8. Excellent. So, and then next up we come to another kind of funny word order. We are three kings of Orient, or as the title goes, we three kings of Orient are. From 1857, and just kind of a reminder, I'm always interested in these kind of like legendary aspects of our traditions and including Christmas carols. The Three Kings story is from the Gospel of Matthew only. That's the only gospel that this story is included as part of Jesus' birth. And Matthew does not say 3. It just says wise men. And Matthew does not call them kings. They're not named. So this is kind of an example of subsequent sort of modern traditions building on the biblical tradition that end up not being exactly biblical, but nonetheless it's a favored tradition and beloved song anyway, written by John Henry Hopkins Jr. of Williamsport, PA, for a Christmas pageant in New York City, and this was construed by Wikipedia as the first widely popular Christmas carol written in America. So there you have it, page 14. If we can turn. Now we move to the year 1868 and O Little Town of Bethlehem, text by Phillips Brooks. Interestingly, I did not realize this. I've mostly been in the U.S., not in England, but there's a different melody, a different version, same words, different melody in England. So why don't we do the American version, however?
Yeah, please.
We're on page 10, and I was just thinking again of kind of context and place and whatnot. And so here is just online. I found this picture of children at play in Bethlehem in 2010. So page 10. Here we go. So then pausing a little bit to talk about what we've been doing here with these hymns. I always kind of dig in and interested in the history of these things. So we noticed that 4 of our 11 selections were written before the year 1800, and 1 from the Middle Ages, and none of these are written after 1870. So, I mean, all of our, most of our beloved hymns, are of that age. So, it's maybe we could look at it as sort of a golden age of Christmas carols. As an example, that Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht in German seems to have been an immediate hit, such as it were, becoming very popular very quickly, including, of course, translated into English. And so essentially in those 50 years, that accounts for 7 of our carols. And so this is perhaps not surprising given the modern history of celebrating Christmas. Some of you, I think, have attended my program about the history of Christmas, which is another interest of mine. And essentially, Christmas as we do it is primarily an invention of the mid-1800s. I mean, it's not ancient. It's more of a modern set of innovations. So just touching base on some of the benchmarks from the history of Christmas, in the time of these important carols, we look, for example, at Christmas trees, which started as a German tradition and were brought to America and caught on quickly, and such that the majority of American homes essentially had Christmas trees by the second half of the 1800s. And there's a picture here on the right that is interesting, that it's from 1848, and it was published in a popular magazine in England. This is Queen Victoria and Prince Albert with their family, I mean the royal children and so on. And you see what they got there. They got this tree with candles and little ornaments hanging off it, and this like lovely, tranquil domestic scene among the royal family. And that image was subsequently broadcast and reprinted around the world and had a huge impact, kind of an outsized impact on this sort of creation of the notion of a Christmas tree the way we still have it today. So there you have it. Additionally, we can point out a couple other things. There's Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol from 1843, hugely popular. And another one, and this is kind of like one of these little trivia things that don't really think about, but poinsettias? Well, whatever. The poinsettia, I thought, what the heck kind of word is that? And then, it's the plant that we all know. Well, it's named for the U.S. Mexican ambassador, Joel Robert Poinsett, who was not only the ambassador to Mexico in the early 1800s, but he was really into plants. And they had this one down there that was like, it had these red, colors and stuff. And so, oh my gosh, we gotta have those. So because of his influence, we started importing, like this plant from Mexico around Christmas time. So voila, poinsettia. I do say poinsettia usually, don't worry, despite the spelling. So, and then additionally, we kind of can't get away from this kind of this alternate secular aspect of Santa Claus, which and Santa Claus was essentially invented in the 19th century in northeastern USA, based especially on some German and Dutch traditions that got us through several stages to the Santa Claus that we have today. And this is probably no surprise either. In the 1800s, an increase in commercialized traditions of gift wrapping and giving. I guess I would sort of wrap up by saying that we don't know when Jesus was born exactly. We literally don't. The Bible says nothing about when. We've sort of conventionally arrived at Christmas Day. And there's a good reason for that ties to the late Roman Empire that we won't get into today. But, regardless, we know that Jesus was born, and we're happy to have a day dedicated to that. And that's what Christmas is indeed all about. And the Christmas carols, I think, are tributes to and reminders of that joy as well. So there you have it, a quick look at the history of some of our favorite Christmas carols and little story to go with it. And thank you so much, Sherry. And we're actually finished in very good time. So we have a little opportunity to chat, step out, get coffee, what have you, and see you in the service at 10. So thank you very much.